Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Super Breakdown. Today we'll be looking at the RX-78AL Atlas Gundam, piloted by E.O. Fleming. Where the Thunderbolt had just about everything I love in a suit, the Atlas is lacking in a lot of those things, but it's still pretty solid. Same cost as Thunderbolt. The basic shot's not too bad, and the charge shot actually is pretty nice, though it does lock you in place to fire it. The rest of the kit's a little strange, as we'll get into as you see here. We have the Striker, which fires the charge shot just like the standard charge. Again, not bad. Pretty nice line. Can be used really effectively to get the drop on your opponents. And I have seen it be able to appear behind you, which, if you're close enough, which is always nice for a Striker to be able to pop up behind your opponent. You have this lateral movement, and it is only lateral. You cannot move back or forward with it, which is kind of disappointing. It feels like you should be able to move back or you should be able to move forward, but the lateral movement is quite a bit of movement, so you can get some movement with it and get out of the way of attacks you may not have been able to dodge otherwise. Then you have this charge on left trigger. You can cancel it into a melee, or you can cancel it into a shot, or you can cancel it into a block, but that's it. It really feels like you should be able to cancel it into some other forms, like the standard Thunderbolt charge could. But as you can see there, it's really just the melee that you can cancel it into. You can either cancel it into your regular melee or your right trigger melee, but your melees are going to be what you cancel into from there. Right trigger, as we said, is a melee. If you just press it on its own, you get this forward stab, which is not too bad, or slash, I suppose, not stab. Not too bad, doesn't do a lot of damage, doesn't really combo into much, but hey, allows you to maybe get a quick kill on somebody that's a little lower. If you combo it with forward movement, you get the double slash here, which is pretty nice. Combos pretty well. If you combo it with back movement, it's the same. And side movement, you get this really nice side slash. That is probably my favorite melee attack that the Atlas has. I really like it. We'll show off the burst, and then in the second round, we'll show the rest of the melee combos. And we'll show off the last thing that you can do from the charge as well. As we go to the second round, of course, we ask the question, should you use the Atlas Gundam? Honestly, I think everything the Atlas brings to the table, other suits do better. When it comes to the lateral mobility, I think that the Goof Custom, with its lines, and other transformable mobile suits, probably have better movement. I think that the Vig Nagina has better movement. I think that, there's many suits that fill this niche of mobility better than the Atlas because of the lateral-only movement. However, I will say the combination of that and a charge that allows you to cancel into other attacks is pretty unique. The biggest problem I have with the charge is that you don't have hyper armor on it. So you will get interrupted constantly while attempting to do the charge. In all of my practice matches, that's all that seemed to happen, was that I was constantly getting interrupted. You can finish the charge. It doesn't do any damage if you connect with it if you're not canceling into something. Otherwise, it is just that basic charge, which is fine, I suppose, but I would have preferred if it had hyper armor if it wasn't going to do damage on impact. You can cancel it into a shot, as we mentioned earlier, which goes into this chain gun. Not bad. The only real way you can use that chain gun, too, so might as well, I suppose. And then finally, you can cancel it into a block, because that is your back melee, is a block. It will block quite a bit of damage. It won't block everything, but it will block quite a bit of damage as well, so it's not terrible. You have side melee, which is a pretty nice little combo, looks good. You have forward melee, well, if we can get into forward melee, which is a stun. However, because the way the movement works with the Atlas, after that, you have to be pretty quick to be able to capitalize on it. You can go into another melee to capitalize on it, or you can cancel out into shots by sidestepping. And then finally, you have the basic melee combo, which is pretty good. Not terrible at all. I just think that what the Atlas brings to the table, other suits do better. I think that maybe if you could cancel the charge into a couple other things, maybe into a charge shot from your cannon, that would be pretty good. But it also doesn't help that I feel like the mobility is wasted because of this lateral movement. If I could change the charge into a back charge and had hyper armor on it, or I could move the mobility forward or back as well if I had full 3D control of the movement there. If from the back melee I could counter, There's just a lot of little things I would have changed. And yeah, then maybe the Atlas would have been too good. But if even one of those things had been changed, I think the Atlas would have been a lot more competitive. I think as it is right now, the Atlas is outclassed in many ways in short and long range. Especially by the Thunderbolt. With all that said, though, this is just my opinion. Please tell me in the comment section down below how you feel about the Atlas. I have been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. And remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that the Atlas has to offer.